This deck box may not look like much, but dig a little bit deeper and it's actually a lot like Lego. You pick the pieces, you do the building, and the final result is entirely yours. Which means if it sucks, don't come crying to me. Welcome to Absolute Cardboard, and today we're taking a look at a deck box that's probably more customizable than any other deck box I've seen. Now, for full disclosure, these were provided to me by the designer at IcyGames for review on the channel, with full knowledge that my review would be my honest critique of the custom MTG Deck Box Modular System. You know what? I'm just going to call these Ice Boxes in honor of the designer. The Ice Box is a 3D printed deck box, without a ton of bells and whistles in its overall design. It has a very secure latch that opens the box with this kind of wraparound style, kind of like the lid thing, and we'll get to the specifics later, but this deck box is very secure, and not just for a 3D printed deck box, but for any deck box in general. Now with that extra security comes a bit of extra size. For comparison, here it is next to a boulder. The Ice Box will hold about 140 single-sleeved cards very snugly, and 100 single-sleeved cards with about 55 unsleeved cards for tokens, dry erase cards, whatever. It also comes with this little groove on the side and to slot in a divider. And on the small side of the divide, there will be this little tray. Now this tray will hold unsleeved card size things, but I would avoid using it for counters or dice because pulling it up, they will probably just fall out. But this tray makes sense in terms of holding dry erase cards or tokens because the opposite divider side will hold 80 cards, which means a standard 60 card deck, 75 cards in total with the sideboard, and a couple extra spaces for sleeves or companions or whatever. Which does also make this deck box one of the more compelling choices in supporting different deck sizes and different deck sleeving. For specifics, I'll provide the exact internal measurements here. And for the overall specs, here are the dimensions of the exterior of the box with the weight of the box totally empty. And up to this point, you may have thought that this was a pretty normal deck box, and to a large extent you are right. It's just a box. No weird storage compartments, no hidden magnets, no windows for top loaders or anything. The interesting part of the box is actually outside the box, not inside, because all of these panels are customizable. On the front and rear panels, simply slide down to reveal the track that this exterior panel will sink into. To change the side panels, you have to open the lid and then slide up. Not only are these sides customizable, but the panel on the lid and the lid securing panel themselves are customizable. With the lid, you can simply firmly pull up to get this part out and make it interchangeable. To attach the lid panels, just slide out these little pins. I use the thumbtack because I have no fingernails, but a paper clip or something else will also work fine. Now, pins do wiggle a little, and after many openings, you'll kind of see the head of the pin kind of turtle head poking out. Just push them back in, and they seem to work fine. I haven't had any issue with the strength of the pins while they are inside of the lid. But if you are swapping them out for another panel color or something, they are literally just super small plastic columns. I would imagine that they would get broken in shipping more so than while in the deck box. One of my favorite results of the design of this is that because of the side panels and lid parts, they're all printed separately and then assembled together. Every side of these is the good side. Now that good side is what's called the bed contact side, at least in my vernacular. Then all the other sides are like more or less fine, but they are somewhat a little bit 3D printy. You can kind of see striations and some unevenness, but with this design, the way it's built and put together, each side is printed on the bedside, giving you that nice textured feeling and look on all sides. And maybe the coolest thing about this whole design is how you can actually pick the colors you want. On the Etsy store, you have options for the single, double, triple, or quadruple modules, which doesn't seem like a lot of options given the customizable nature of these panels, but what you are supposed to do is then take your Etsy order and insert it into this website that allows you to actually go in and customize every part. The great thing is you can also just go in and mess around with it before you even order every panel, every component, even the art on the side of the panels. Everything from kind of basic magic iconography to art pieces to even custom logos. And it also has custom image uploads, though they will have to be uploaded and they will be reviewed manually for any of you dirty copyright violators. But what the heck does a single, double, or triple module even mean? Well, aside from the side grooves offering panel customization, there is also this, which will fit into the grooves on the side or back of the deck box, and then let that attach to another deck box. So, for example, the app will show you the pre-built options of the single, the 2-wide, 3-wide, and cubed. Now, in my position, I have two single deck boxes. I've got one blue and one silver, but I also have two conjoined twin deck boxes. Now this is semi-permanent is what he describes it as, and I initially did question how semi-permanent it was, and that motherfucker is tough to undo once you even approach to having a full-on attachment of those sliding panels. I'm talking like I had to undo it with a screwdriver and like full weight pressing on a counter, and the twofer that was sent already pre-attached has had no sign at all of letting loose. When I mentioned earlier that this is super secure, I didn't mean from just an individual deck box level. This is the whole system. It's super secure. I can shake and jostle this thing with extreme confidence that nothing will pop open, and that's even on the single or the twofers. If I had a security grade, this thing would be highest marks. But I do have a Fidgetability Scale, and that will get high marks for this. The side panels give a satisfying click when they lock into place, and they're not hard to slide in or out, even though they are in there snugly, which is kind of impressive. The lid itself is also pretty satisfying to clasp and unclasp. And you could do something similar with the lid attachment panel, though my inclination is that you wouldn't want to do this because you don't really want to wear down that particular part, though I have fidgeted with it a ton and changed out the pieces and stuff, and I haven't had any issues with them yet. A couple things to note. First, they sell replacement parts, which is nice, but can also be used, let's say, actively. For example, maybe your color preference over time shifts to something else and you wish you got different color panelings or a mix of different color panelings. Well, with this system, you don't need to buy a whole new box. You can just order the components, then swap them out, giving your deck flexibility and a little bit more lifespan. Secondly, the base color on these is black, and there are no color options for that, which is kind of unfortunate, but also kind of makes sense from a logistical standpoint. And thirdly, this deck box has a 90-day limited warranty. To me, that's kind of unheard of in this space and wild, but it's great for the consumer. But ultimately, who is something like this for? My initial thinking was to say everyone because it's so versatile and so customizable, but that's a bit cliche and a little bit of an easy way out. But it is also hard to find anything wrong with them. They aren't flashy or super intricate, it's just smart, clever design with a focus for quality in every component. For a singular deck box, I think this is totally fine. Fairly compact, useful, simple, customizable, but nothing special, except for the ability to add on as you further want to. At two of the deck boxes, side by side or back to back, this is kind of a super neat and secure thing. It's a little reductive, but I feel like it's kind of just two boulders glued together, but a customizable two boulders glued together that can also expand into 3 or 4. Now at 3 wide, this starts to be pretty interesting and start to look more like a replacement for like an Ultimate Guide Archive or any other kind of lawn box you might want to take to a game night. Though with this, you don't need the storage box and the deck boxes inside. This becomes an all-in-one solution, storage and deck boxes. And the cube setup, well, honestly, for me, this just looks like a great battle box option. If you happen to get like the Turtle Team Up, or if you have like all 4 Warhammer pre-constructed commander decks, having them all 4 of them like locked together, that's just kind of a cool thing to just plop down on the table and then everyone can pick like one deck. And the bottom line is that even as an individual deck box, if you just get one and then maybe add on later, this is one of the most secure, strong, and quality deck boxes I've ever seen. And that goes for mainstream deck boxes as well. Except this is way more customizable and has way more upside as far as scaling. Mainstream deck boxes can't do that. If you enjoyed the video, like the video and subscribe for more. You can check out all my reviews of cool gaming accessories here. Check out a few. If this one didn't particularly float your boat, I'm sure you can find something that you'll enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.